Welcome into Drew Staley Diamond for Friday, January 17, 2025, a 10-game college basketball slate. As we get the weekend started here, guys, let me know in the comments below where you agree, where you disagree, your picks for tonight, for this weekend. All is welcome. We got a question and answer session here on the show. Feel free to fire away any questions in the comments below. Smash that like button if you're liking the content. As we got first game up, 8 p.m. Eastern, prime time on Fox, nationally televised from the Schottenheim Center, Columbus, Ohio. Big Ten matchup here, Indiana Hoosiers, Ohio State Buckeyes. We are seeing the Buckeyes -7 to as high as -8-point home favorites, 148 being the total. Actually, 148.5 being the total. Now, actually both of these two teams coming in not playing their best basketball of the season. Ohio State's lost 3 of their last 4. They've lost each of their last 2 home games. And Indiana has lost 2 straight, both by 25 points here. So, again, not playing good basketball for either side. Sidewise, I think it's tough. I'm not looking to bet on either of those two profiles. I mean, Indiana's really struggling offensively. They're in the 300s national ranking in terms of three-point percentage. And Ohio State, they're averaging less than 70 points a game in Big Ten conference play. So going up against, the better athletes in the Big Ten, they've had trouble scoring, which, they've trended under all year long, 2 straight unders. It's what's making me think this game does not get into the 150s, guys. 148.5, a pretty sizable total here. I like the Hoosiers and the Buckeyes under 148 and a hook to start us off. We got an hour later, 9 p.m. Eastern, staying in the Big Ten, but heading out west here. Pauley Pavilion, Los Angeles, California, Iowa, and UCLA. We are seeing the Bruins -6.5, -7-point home favorites, 155 being the total. This one on Fox Sports 1. And also they just announced it will be played at Pauley Pavilion, with the wildfires going on. So there was a question of where this game would be played. But either way, I like Iowa in this one. I think the Hawkeyes catching a full touchdown here, +7 in the overnight market. That's the way I like this one, guys. Couple reasons why. UCLA, they are back home, but they're off of an 0-2 road trip. They did not look good. Plus, they've lost 4 straight games overall. They've dropped 4 straight against the spread, so they've been overpriced here. They're under 70% from the free throw line. Actually, both teams are. But UCLA lost their last home game by 19 points. So I almost think something's wrong here with the Bruins basketball. And they're up against the Hawkeyes. They've won 5 of their last 7, both straight up and against the spread. So they've been cashing tickets. And usually in the Big Ten, if you've been watching the show, have talked about, teams going, from east to west or west to east, kind of fading that, the same as the football season was. The team struggled making the travel. But this is a situation that's a little bit different. Doing the research here, Iowa finesse team under head coach Fran McCaffrey. We kind of know what we're going to get. They're going to go quickly. They're very efficient offensively. They're top 10, both 2-point and 3-point percentage. The thing here is they're on a Los Angeles road trip. They played USC. They did lose that game, but they actually stayed in Los Angeles, downtown LA, near the USC campus. They've been practicing at USC. I almost think that helps them, staying out there. They went to a Laker game as a team. So, look, a well-coached team overall. They're catching 7 points here, and I actually think staying at the location is going to help them. All of that, guys, +7, I think it's too much. I think Iowa, if you're feeling a little like a big gambler here, maybe throw a little bit on the money line. I wouldn't be surprised if the Hawkeyes win outright. For the show, we're going +7, Iowa Hawkeyes over the UCLA Bruins. Got 1 game left. It's the Degenerate Special we're going to get to. But a reminder, if you could comment below, it helps the algorithm grow the show. Smash that like button if you're interested in premium picks. Got one up for Friday here, and one I really like, one that we're not going over on the show. And then, of course, NFL playoffs. We got Saturday college basketball and the Sunday slate as well. National championship coming up on Monday. So a good weekend, 3-day, 7-day passes are up and available. Drew Martin experts page, WagerTalk.com. So got the 1 game left, but I've been talking about throw out any questions, guys. So I had some time to check it out. One, appreciate everybody chiming in, and we'll start off here with ManzyMan777 a couple days ago. Drew, I enjoy your channel and have made good money with it. One question: of all the games on the docket, why would you pick a game with so many variables, in my opinion? And he has Auburn in parentheses. If you watched the show, I think 2 days ago, Auburn played Mississippi State. and their best player, Broom, was out. That's the one he's talking about. And there were a lot of variables. That's a great point, Manzi, man. And this is a game I was wrong. Definite wrong side. I bet the under. Their best player, Broom, was out. Mississippi State had some question marks as well. And it ended up going over. It was pretty much never in doubt going to be a loss. And the reason I went after that game is because I thought Auburn would struggle offensively. I really did. But it proves, when you watch these games, you grade out your handicap here, Manzi, man, is, you learn and you go from that point forward. So Auburn's a deep team this year. They got a lot of scorers on there. So if one guy's out, even their best player, it is not a team. You take the loss and you learn from it. And going forward, I'm not looking to bet them under by any means, especially at home. We've seen Bruce Pearl look to go kind of pedal to the metal and run up the score when he's playing in the Pearl in Auburn, Alabama. So that's one thing I took away from it. But it's a great point. Sometimes when there's too many variables, you should just sit on the sidelines. So understand it, man. I appreciate the question. We also have one here from Zach W. Appreciate you chiming in, Zach. Hey, good morning, Drew. If you could answer this one of your upcoming shows, I'd really appreciate it. I had my best year of sports betting in 2024. Due to this, 3 of my sports books here in Ohio limited my accounts to where I could only bet $10 or less per play. I hate that they can do this. Any advice or ways to get around this to keep getting action? Thank you. I love this segment every day and appreciate the info and advice you provide. Well, thank you, Zach, for chiming in and asking a question. And a couple things here. One, they limit you now. They don't just kick you out as much. And I think part of that is they're wanting to kind of get a gauge on their competition of how much people will just keep betting at low amounts, $50, $20, and you say $10. Man, so that's one thing of why they're limiting people and not kicking people out. A couple of things to kind of defend against it that I've been able to do is, one, if you're going to middle a game, so let's say, tonight's Indiana-Ohio State game, like the under of 148.5. Sometimes these totals will move a bunch, 3, 4, 5 points. And if this by tip-off gets to 143, and then therefore you'd want to bet the over to middle the game to win both bets if it lands in there, don't do that at the same book. So if you have DraftKings and you bet the under, and then right before tip-off you bet the over at DraftKings and you win both of those bets, if you keep doing that, they're going to kick you out for that. That's one thing I've learned. Another thing is, maybe get a local. I kind of like locals more anyway, and part of the reason is because if you kind of refer a friend, things of that nature, you can get money back. But also, if you do have a losing week and you refer to a player or two, sometimes you could be like, hey, man, I've helped you out. Can you help me out? And if you're down, sometimes they just clear the slate, things of that nature. So that's another way to go at it. Maybe ask your friends who they bet with, and maybe they can refer you. And then otherwise, if in the legal sports betting market, there's more than just 3 books. So you could just always open a new one, I guess. Those are some things that come off the top of my head to me. But maybe last thing, if you're up a lot at one sports book, you say throughout the whole 2024. So by the end of the year, if you get up a bunch on these guys, obviously, they have the technology. They can just look at it. So, you beat them for, 10K, something like that. And you do that back-to-back years. They're going to kick you out. Maybe kind of look to do your bigger, better action at another sports book just to keep them opened. Those are kind of some things that come off the top of my mind. Maybe I got to think about this one a little bit more, but love the question, Zach, and congrats on having a great 2024. And thank you for the question, man. So there's a couple questions, guys, from this past week's shows, and feel free to fire away in the comments below if you have any more questions. Love answering them on the show. We got last game here. Always like to keep the show under 10 minutes. Not going to make it here, but I got one I really like. Degenerate time slot, 11 p.m. Eastern, Fox Sports 1. We're heading to the pit in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Boise State and New Mexico. The Lobos hosting the Broncos. This one on FS1, 151 being the total, -3 and a hook. That is New Mexico at home in Albuquerque. 14-4 for New Mexico, 13-5 for Boise State. 2 tournament teams from last year. Boise State's actually made the tournament 3 straight years under head coach Leon Rice. This one I'm going to the total as well, but I like the over, guys. Of course, late night, Friday night lights. Who doesn't like betting overs? 11-6 to the over for Boise State. 6 of their last 7 have gone over. Love trends like that. Teams playing kind of better offensive basketball up and down the court. They did win by 8 points at New Mexico last year, so kind of in this arena, they've shown they can play well. 78% from the free throw line. And just on Tuesday, I actually bet the Boise State-Wyoming game to the under, took the loss. And one thing I learned is Boise State scored 96 points in a game that was totaled 133. So they're flirting with 100 in a total game of 133. Watch out for that stuff, guys, because Boise State is really starting to play some good offensive basketball right now. And now they're going up against New Mexico. Of course, head coach Richard Pitino, top 10 tempo team in the country. They're going to look to go up and down. They're off of their worst loss of the year against San Jose State. And it's a team that just shot 20% from the three-point line. They only made 3 3-pointers in their last game, that 1-point loss to San Jose State. I don't think that's going to happen again either. So combining all of that, guys, 151, I wouldn't be surprised if this gets in the 160s and beyond. So Degenerate Special, 11 p.m. Eastern, Fox Sports 1. We're going Boise State and New Mexico over 151. In recap, we got the Boise State, New Mexico over 151. We got Iowa +7 over UCLA, and Indiana, Ohio State under 148.5. That's going to do it for the Friday show. We'll be back on Saturday. Come back and join us. Until then, smash that like button, comment below, cash those tickets. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night, guys.